Hello, sixth graders. You made it to the second video of this module of this week of science. So at this point, I expect that you've finished the survey. Um, that was, let's go back to it. This one over here. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, then go back to the previous slides and complete this survey and then move on to this video. You guys can pace these things however you want to. So if you want to do all three videos and activities at once, you can, or if you want to break them up over several days, you can do that too. The only thing is you guys have to finish all three of the videos and assignments that come after them by Friday. So in this part of the Nearpod, of this part of the week, we're going to be creating science goals. I want you guys to make a good science goal for yourself for the end of June so that we're all reaching towards something. I think that it makes for more excitement and more engagement when you have a specific idea in mind of what you're reaching for or what you're trying to accomplish. And that starts, one of the ways to start this is by actually writing a goal for yourself. But what makes a good goal? You want to know, I want to know, this cat wants to know. Let's find out. What the experts say, and when I say the experts, I mean people that have done writing about making goals. You can Google this. It's called a SMART goal. And a SMART goal this is like an acronym, which means that each one of the letters stands for something. The S stands for specific, the M stands for measurable, the A stands for attainable, the R stands for realistic, and the T stands for time bound. So by specific, it means you want to, they say, set real numbers with real deadlines, and you want to actually say what specifically you want to accomplish. So not just, I want to be better at stuff. You want to say, I want to be better at gardening by June, right? Or I want to know 10 more things about science by May. So you're being specific about what it is that you want to accomplish rather than just being like, I don't know, I want to be better at stuff. Measurable is the part of it that means that you are able to check in with yourself and see how you're doing with it. So this is where the numbers also come in handy, like adding numbers into your goal. So if your goal was you want to learn 10 more things about science, that's easy to measure, right? You think to yourself, how many things do I know about science that I didn't know starting in March? You think, and if it's three, then it's three. So you know where you're at in reaching your goal. So it's measurable. Attainable and realistic, these two I sort of clump together. It means that you're setting a goal that you're actually going to be able to accomplish. And this looks different for every person, but you want your goal to be something that you know that you can do. That's not to say make it super easy, but don't make it super hard, right? Like your goal shouldn't be, my science goal is to learn every single bone in the body by June. Unless like you already know a ton of bones in the body, or your goal shouldn't be, I want to build a spaceship and set off for Titan by June. It should be something that you know that you can accomplish. That's not to say don't push yourself, don't make it something that you want to actually put an effort to do, but also don't make it something that would be crazy to accomplish. And also time bound. This is the part of it where you give yourself a deadline. And giving yourself a deadline, it doesn't mean that you have to feel horrible about yourself if you didn't do the thing that you wanted to do by the time that you said that you would do it. But it gives you, for me, I'm definitely what people call a procrastinator in certain ways, meaning I don't do this all the time, but there's been times where I save what I need to do for the last minute. But what would happen if there was no last minute is the thing. right? So by giving yourself a deadline, like you guys get with a lot of your assignments in school, you're saying, this is when I need to do the thing that I had set out to do by. So if you're getting close to June and you still haven't, or if you're getting close to May and you still haven't like started to, I don't know if I said the gardening example in this version of the video, but if you're still not planting the seeds for your garden that you said you were going to plant 10 of them, then you got to get outside and start planting those seeds for that garden. So by giving yourself a deadline, you're taking your specific and your measurable and your attainable and realistic goal, and you're saying, this is when I want to finish that thing by. Okay, so let's look at some examples of this. So I'll do a good example and then bad example. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so my goal for science for the year is to get an A. And actually, I'm going to change this one a little bit. Is to get an A on, let's say, 5 assignments by June. I want to make it a little bit more specific and a little bit more time bound, right? So June is my deadline. And I made it more specific by saying by getting an A on 5 assignments, and that also makes it more measurable, right? So every single time that you get an A on an assignment, you can check it off on your goal. So my goal for science for the year is to get an A on 5 assignments by June. A bad example of a science goal is the bane of my existence, IDK. Please, please, please don't say IDK. Because that's just not a goal. All right, let's do another bad science goal example. I want to learn stuff, I guess. Okay, let's take that and be more specific. What stuff do you want to learn specifically? How are you going to measure that specific thing that you want to learn? When do you want to finish that thing by? So push yourself to be specific and then to make a plan about how you're going to accomplish that goal. And then hold on, I think when I added writing here, this cat, I'll move this cat up here. Let's give another good example. My goal for the year, or for before June, is to learn all of the different parts of an animal cell. There aren't too many parts of an animal cell, so this is, in terms of memorization, a pretty realistic one. It's specific. You're doing a very specific thing, which is learning the parts of the animal cell, and it's measurable, right? Because there's only so many parts of a science cell and of an animal cell, and you can check in with yourself and be like, okay, I've memorized half of them, or I've memorized 25% of them. All right, and let's do one more bad example. I want to build an electronic car like Elon Musk did by June. Unfortunately, this isn't to say that you guys couldn't build an electronic car if you had like the resources in this class to build an electronic car by June. And I wish that we did, but unfortunately we don't. So this is not a realistic goal. Like, no one's gonna unfortunately build an electronic car unless you have all of those resources at home. Then maybe I'm wrong. No one's gonna build a rocket. So this one's not a good science goal because it's not realistic, right? It needs to be something that you can do with the materials that you have or can get. If you really want to push the limits of what's possible, I don't want to hold you back too much on this one. Like, I love to be surprised. And I want you guys to always dream big of what's possible. But yeah, all right. So here's just this example one more time. My goal for science for the year is to have each one of my students design an experiment that they are proud of. So this one is like a personal goal for me. It's already been done with my 7th and 8th graders. I'm going to do the same thing with you guys, where I want you guys to design an experiment. That's probably what we're going to be working on in next week's module, but there's just one more example of it. So now that we know a little bit more about what a good goal is, I want you guys to write yours And where you're going to write it is on here on the Nearpod. So after this video is over, you're going to move on to the next slide. And that slide is an open-ended question. So I give the examples here. And I give the instructions, and here is where you're going to type your answer. And it's just one sentence. It's just your science goal. So look at the instructions, go back in the video and take a look at what makes a good goal. And then go ahead and write your 1-sentence science goal. And then when you're done, you're going to hit submit. If you want to record audio, if you want to say your science goal instead of writing it, I'm fine with that too. So that I'm going to conclude the video in just a second. But my expectation is you'll move on to the next slide and you'll write your science goal. And I'll see you in the third video, which is the last one.